All right. It's that time. It's time for Beyond Sight and Sound. Let's do this. Would you like to optimize your success out in the field? Metal detecting and gold prospecting, one word: Coil Tech. They've been manufacturing high-performance aftermarket coils for years now for popular models such as the E-Track, the Sovereign, the Explorer series, the GPX series, and our favorite, the 10x5 for the CTX 3030. Great target separation in trashy areas, still maintaining excellent depth for the coil size. Coil Tech is optimizing discovery, your potential for success in the field. You can check them out at coiltechmanufacturing.com.au.
Caution. Please do not operate motor vehicles or power equipment while under the influence of this show. Listening to this show could cause side effects such as bouts of laughter, violent binges of cabin fever, and even dreams of silver and gold. Please be advised. Now that the fine print is out of the way, on with the show.
All right, and we're back. We're live once again. You are listening to Beyond Sight and Sound, Metal Detecting and Treasure Hunting Radio. For all the really cool digging people out there, we're here on Wednesdays, we're here on Sundays, 8 p.m. Eastern. Always 8 p.m. Eastern. Always. Why? That's because that's when we throw the switch, and then we have some fun with everybody in the chat. Looking into the chat, man, there's just all sorts of people. It's starting to pile up in there. I can't even hardly keep track of the comments. But I do see that Leighton's in the chat. How's it going, Leighton?
Hey, pretty good. How you doing tonight there, Josh?
All right. I see that Ohio Relic Hunter, Carolyn, Cody, Paul, Big, there's just Barb. There's a number of them dropping in. Dennis. Man, good to see. Bunch of them filling up in there. Always fun. I know a couple of weeks ago somebody was commenting that the chat was a little hard to follow, and I thought, well, that's unfortunate, but try it from my end. Man, I can't even.
It was scrolling like a bugger, huh?
Oh, yeah. When it gets rolling in there, it just looks like a ticker tape moving right up my screen.
Yeah, exactly. That's okay. It's all good. Hey, that means that it's working.
Exactly, yeah.
Right.
Everybody seems to be having a good time, enjoying themselves in the chat, and that is definitely the important part, so to speak. At least they're all having fun.
Right. That's half the battle. That's
right.
why you're here. That's why I'm here, having fun.
Exactly. Yeah, I see Gordon's in the house too. He I believe he's sitting at just over 650 members in the World of Tokens group now.
Oh, my goodness. And Ben Frog is in there from Connecticut. Benny!
Oh, welcome to Ben. Oh, and Pear. Pear's in the house, too.
All right.
Which, Pear is the one that kindly donated the sheath for the giveaway going on the Beyond Sight and Sound group right now. Nice, very nice sheath.
I like it. I didn't know there was a $50 in
it. Well, it's a decorative $50. It's decorative hardware that looks like a $50.
That's okay. It's still cool looking, buddy.
Oh yeah, it is. It is. It's just awesome. As a matter of fact, after we launched that giveaway,
yes,
people were entering. You know, they were getting their numbers assigned, and
right.
Pear come in and he commented and he says, "Well, where's your number, Josh?"
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'd love a chance to win it and get my number too, so I've got a chance to win it, but that probably wouldn't look real good if my number was selected then, since I'm the one running the contest. So yeah. I told him, I said, well, I'll have to wait for another chance sometime. And would you believe it, out of the blue, the guy sends me a message and says, you should have another package coming your way. I hope you like black.
Nice.
It was. I was very honored to receive that. That is a very nice sheath. It definitely is.
Oh, awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good to see the folks in there too on the chat. That's great.
Yeah, absolutely it is. Oh, well, that's very kind, Pear. Thanks. He says, you're a winner to all of us. Okay, well, thank you. That's nice. Jaren's in the chat as well. Wow.
Hey, one Jaren speaks for itself, buddy. How long you been on the air now? How long you been doing this?
Oh, gosh. I don't...
Turn this into a Josh interview.
Oh, it's been quite some time, actually. As a matter of fact, there around Christmas, I believe I pulled one from way back in the vault for an archive that was actually, it was probably within one of the first 5 shows that I did.
Oh my goodness.
So that was way back. It seems like another lifetime now. I mean, we've gotten venues that operate smoother. We've gotten better audio quality for listeners, and they've all had to jump through the hurdles and hoops with us, though. A number of them I see in the chat now we can remember from back in the days of 1,000 mics.
Yes, 1,000 mics. Wow. And under the radar radio. Remember those days?
Yeah, that's... See, and now we're going back a ways.
Yeah, we are. I know. Got a little bit of time under our belts, I'd say. It's kind of like the old times when we used to talk CB. Remember those days?
Oh, yeah. I mean...
What was your...
Mine?
Yeah.
Oh, a lot of times they could find me on the air under Survivor.
Survivor. Okay. Was that named after the group, or was it because of a personal situation? I hope it's not the latter.
Well, actually, it was the latter, because I'm a survivor. I just seem to keep plugging away.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
I get knocked down and I try to get back up.
Yeah, well, and you have. And I've seen that firsthand. When you get knocked down the wave, you get right back up. I've seen it. Exactly,
you have.
Oh, my goodness. More than once. I think one time there was a jetty between Josh and I. For the folks out there who don't know, I invited Josh to come and visit me for a week. We went out in the water, and, well, we pretty much water hunted all week, did we not? I don't think we did any land, did we?
The closest thing we came to land was maybe digging a signal in the sand next to the water.
Yeah, I think so. We did water hunting, and I put you through the ropes. You did well. But there was one time when I looked up, it was a little on the windy side that day, and no more Josh. Where did he go?
Poof, he's gone.
He was gone, all right. He was on the other side of a jetty, or a rock wall, for those that not sure what that is. And I couldn't see him from my distance. So I'm starting to panic, and I'm going, okay, where did he go now? Is the poor guy drowning on me? Where? Anyway, I did find him. By the time I got to almost where he was up. So, yeah, we seen him fall a few times with those waves. Never turn your back, buddy.
Right. I was swimming with the fishies.
Yeah. Awesome.
Hey,
so no surprise to you, I'm sure. My handle, I may have mentioned this before. Fishing
probably
Magician.
Fanatic. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Fishing Magician. Remember the Pocket Pal?
Yeah.
We're still talking about fishing here.
Right.
Anyway. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, so the Pocket Pal Fishing Magician. It was made by Ronco.
Oh, yeah. Becky's in the chat, too.
Good evening. And Ben just got through saying that Angel Morales will be here, too. Pretty shortly.
Oh, now we're going to have to roll out the red carpet.
Right on. The only thing we got to make sure we don't do is have him take us out at the end of the show.
Right. I hear there's a little bit of floundering there.
Oh, my God. That was funny. Oh, well, anyway. Yeah, the pocket fisherman. Oh, my goodness. I think everybody and his brother had one of those things in their truck.
Oh, yeah.
Except for me.
Except for you?
Yeah, I never had one. Couldn't afford it. What were they, like $12 or something? But wait, if you order now...
You can get two!
Right. That was nice of Sue. Thank you very much. That's awesome. I don't know if you just read that.
I did see that. That was very nice.
Very nice, yeah. Well, that's awesome. But yeah, that was one of those things, you know. Everybody and his brother wanted one. And I think but wait, order now and you get two for the price of one. Just pay separate handling, right?
Right. Yeah.
Which is about
order yours today for $49.95 shipping.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Anyway, I don't know how we ended up on CB Radio and Pocket Fisherman's, but anyway.
Well, I don't know. I mean, all of that was back in the day, though. I think you've managed to successfully make us both feel old.
Hey, without even trying.
Right. See, now that's real talent. Hey, I'll tell you what, though. Did you see...
What
was that? Monday. There was a post about a ring return on Facebook.
I may have. Just kind of refresh my memory, and I'll let you know if I remember seeing it or not.
Well, Mike Spicer, kudos to him, had recovered a ring for a woman here, not too far from me.
In the snow?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did see it, yes.
That was a very nice return.
Nice.
Congratulations to him and to her as well. Now that story continues. It was a nice band. It was like a 3-band setup. It was about a $6,000 ring, if I remember right.
Wow.
But one of those bands signified, I believe, like her child that had died. So she was very, very happy to get that ring back.
Yeah, those are the stories that make it all worthwhile, right?
Right. What a way to start the year off with a ring return like that. That was an awesome job.
Right.
So definitely wanted to make sure and mention that and, shout out to Mike. Good job on the good deed.
Yeah, congrats to him for sure. Awesome.
Yeah. And it was pretty nasty weather out, but he went over and was able to find it for her, so good job.
Well, I got a chance to get out yesterday.
Oh, did you do a ring recovery?
I'd like to say yeah. And,
no gold for Leighton, huh? Oh. Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, I feel like Charlie Brown here in the corner in a minute. Hang on. Now, I'll tell you what, honestly, I went to the beach yesterday. It took me a 20-minute ride to get there. And when I got there, everything looked good. It actually looked like it had a little cut going on, up a little high side. Yeah, that's what I said too. Giddy up, right?
Right.
So I got together and did my ritual, which we'll talk about there in a minute, and got down there and tried after my first signal, tried to sink my scoop. Yeah, forget that. I should have brought an ice pick instead.
No scoop sinking without the flamethrower, huh?
Nope. About the first 2.5 inches, 3 inches were soft, and after that, solid, completely solid. I couldn't even, so I had to go closer to the water where it hadn't frozen up on the way down, because you know me, I always go 2 hours prior to the low tide,
right?
And I hunt 2 hours up. Anyway, I got down there and no, I had to get almost into the water. That's how fast it was freezing.
So that sounds awful cold to get in that water right now, buddy.
Yeah, well, hey, you know me, right?
Right.
A little bit of numbness doesn't hurt.
Right, you are determined.
Yes. But not a lot of targets. I think I may have had 5 or 6 coins. Bad day. Bad day for the first time out. Nothing. Couple of Wheaties. I mean, it was bad.
Well,
couple of trees, broken brass. Oh, my goodness.
I mean,
terrible.
It sounds like that was a tough day, but at least you got some Wheaties, and it wasn't all just clad.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. I mean, I had a few coins, but it was just one of those things. It was, after traveling that far, it's like, ugh.
Right, you certainly hope for better fruits for your labor, so to speak.
Right. I mean, hey, listen, it wouldn't have been so bad had I been able to dig. Then I would have been and it was pretty bitter out there too, to be honest with you. It was in the, I think teens there yesterday when I was trying to dig. It was bad. So real bitter cold and, no digging. That's it. It was in the water or no digging. So.
Yeah, so it's safe to say you're locked up from the land right now.
Oh my God, I'm locked up everywhere. Yeah, it's not good. Not good. So I ended up getting down towards the water and then into the water a little bit, up to my knees anyway, and that was about as far as I went. And I could only last, because the wind was so bitter, I think I lasted maybe 15 minutes the first time, and maybe another 15 or 20 minutes the second time. And then I gave it one last hurrah for about 10 or 15, and then I was out of there.
So what would you do? Like go back to the truck and warm up for a few minutes and then go back out?
Yep, that's what I had to do. I mean, my hands and thumbs were completely frozen.
Right.
So
maybe keep a thermos of coffee in the truck or something like that?
Well, as I don't know if you know, but I'm actually doing that little bit of dieting there. So I'm not doing the coffee. I haven't had coffee in 9 days, but who's counting?
Wow.
Yeah, 9 days. No soda, no coffee. All green, little bit of meat. Yeah,
that's a big change in the ritual, so to speak.
Right, exactly. Well, that's where I was going with all this. Yeah, my ritual, right? Right.
Maybe maybe that kind of threw the hunt off for the day.
Yeah, I hope it doesn't throw it off for the year, because I'll be damned if I go that long without finding stuff. My butt will be right down the store and getting myself a coffee.
Right. Yeah, maybe even throw them an Indian if it brings you a little bit of luck.
Right, exactly. Yep. So my ritual, I'm not sure. Let me start it off. Maybe you want to send out the phone number and then go from there.
Oh, yeah. Well, I haven't seen if HomeFinder's in the chat. Usually he drops a number in the chat for us, but if he has, great. If he hasn't, well, that's 419-549-5744. Give us a call. Let us know what some of your hunt rituals, habits, or superstitions are. Traditions, even, maybe.
Right. I know Barb already dropped the number there 1 or 2 times, so thank you, Barb. And good evening.
She's usually right on the ball.
Yes. And, Sue is right. Coffee isn't the issue. It's the cream that I put in it. That's my problem. Basically, as you know, Josh, my coffee is actually coffee milk. It's not coffee. So that's my issue. It's the cream that I put.
Yeah, for Leighton, it's not the coffee. It's what he puts in it.
Right, exactly. And I'm a true New Englander, too. You know me. I'll go right through winter iced coffee. I don't do that hot coffee stuff. Used to, but not anymore.
Right. Well, I mean, the way it sounds from you when we had visited back in 2016, the iced coffee tastes much better anyway.
That's right, it does, doesn't it? Nothing wrong with that and a muffin.
Oh, yeah, can't beat those muffins.
Right. So that is part of my ritual. So my ritual is to make sure that everything is prepared either the night before I leave, and jump out into the truck. I'll head down to what we have is a Cumberland Farms. I'll grab myself an iced coffee or iced milk, whatever you want to call it, coffee milk. I'll grab, and it has to be a chocolate chip muffin, as you know. Got to have that.
Yeah, but they're very good.
I know. It's so fattening. Oh, my God. And I'm not overweight. It's not that. It's just
I was going to say, you could burn those calories off nothing flat the way you dig.
I do,
Right.
And the thing is I don't know. I overindulge in everything I do. That's the problem. I'm all or nothing.
That's why you're the fanatic.
That's it, exactly. So I have my coffee and my muffin, and I'll make sure I'm listening to a little bit of Bob Seger on the way. For most of the ride, I'll make sure that the decibels are very, very low or completely actually off. I'm afraid, here's the issue. I'm afraid that it's like going to a concert. When you come out of the concert, at the end of the day, you can't hear very well.
Right, everybody's saying, what?
Yeah, I'm afraid that if I turn the music up, because I like to hear it loud still, on my way hunting, I won't be able to hear the low tones. So there's a kind of a superstition, I guess, maybe you could call it. I don't know.
Right.
And I have to go 72 miles an hour or no more. I can go less, but I can't go more than 72.
Well, I'm sure the state of Massachusetts appreciates that.
Yeah, they do. Oh, man. So there's a couple of things that I do. I got to make sure my shovel is nice and sharp if I'm doing land digging.
Oh, yeah, because, some people may not realize, but you do actually sharpen your diggers because you just use them that much.
I have to. I can't sink them after a while.
Right. But they do stay nice and shiny being used that much.
Right.
No chance for those things to rust.
Oh, no, there's no rusting up on them things.
Not at all. Well, and you definitely keep your variety to choose from, too.
Right. I have to have a certain set of boots. I have to use my camouflage boots if I'm going down to the water. I can't use the other ones. If I use the other ones, I seem like I'm not finding anything. Oh, man. Anyway. Sorry about that. But anyway. Yeah. Forgot to mute that one. Sorry about that. And I have to have, and when I put my earphones on, here's a superstition I have. I have to have the cord going across my chest so that I have the left one on the left side and the right one on the right side, if that makes sense to anybody. In other words, like a stereo, you have to have that left one on the left ear, like an earbud. They're marked left and right for a reason.
Right.
So I have to have that the right way. Otherwise, I can't dig. Forget it. I'll go home.
Wow.
And if something's broken, forget it. I'm done. I'm going home. Or if it's not working properly, yeah, I'm all set.
Right. You're already kind of hexed from the start.
Right. Exactly.
I see Bill's in the house, too.
Yes. Bill is there. Good evening, Bill. So what's your superstition?
Well, we had kind of talked about that the other night, where I didn't really have any that I could think of right off the top of my head, but the more I thought about it, I guess really I do, kind of.
Okay.
Because, much like with you, I'm kind of picky about my headphones, except I kind of wear them backwards in a sense, because I like to keep the cable of my headphones on my right side.
Okay. Most people do.
That way it's right there with the detector. Well, with the detector if I'm swinging with the right arm anyway.
Right. Yeah, it does get cumbersome, I'm not going to lie. It does seem to always catch on my pocket, the flap.
Right.
But, the more and more I looked into it, I believe that's the correct way. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I thought one of my Grey Ghost headphones actually are marked left and right. The other set I have are not marked. So I don't know why, but I always thought that was the proper way to wear them. So
maybe the set that's not marked, does that kind of make you walk around in circles or something when you're out hunting?
Oh, no, they still go on the other way.
Oh.
They still go. Yes, they still go on.
Well, and another thing, too, that I noticed, a lot of times if I go out and I'm planning on digging in the dirt, and I've actually got my hand digger with me, I never really thought about it until the other day, but usually when I'm digging with my hand digger, I'm always using my right hand, primarily, when I'm cutting my plugs.
Okay.
But I can't put my digger on my right side. I've always got my pinpointer on the right, and my digger goes into its sheath on my left. So I kind of wear my digger cross-body, so to speak.
Interesting. Well,
not sure why I got into that habit, but hey, it works for me, so...
Is it because it was the only place at the first time, maybe it fit? Because I know you travel. When you go out in the woods, I've noticed, when we did the Ohio dig together, you certainly don't go light.
Oh, yeah, I'm kind of like Batman or something. I've got the utility belt going on.
Yeah, I was expecting you to, like on that kid on Goonies, he had all that stuff all over him. Oh
exactly. Yeah, I've got something. I'm one of those people that if I've got a pocket, I'm going to utilize it. I'm going to stick something in that pocket. It doesn't matter. If I've got more pockets, then I'll stick more stuff in the pockets. I've never got an empty pocket.
Wow. See, I have to go light. To me, it becomes too cumbersome. It just seems like, do I really need it until I get back? I think, to me, is less is best. I enjoy just going with my pinpointer, my digging tool.
Right.
Occasionally, unless I'm, like going on a special hunt somewhere else, that's a little bit different. But here, locally, do I really need it until I get back to the truck? Yeah, I might, on occasion, I'll carry a toothbrush just to kind of brush something off a little bit, maybe a little bit of water just to kind of, drip onto the coin or whatever. But outside of that, very, very seldom do I need to. I'm not that far from the truck. I'm very lucky where I hunt. That's the good thing.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was going to say is I guess you kind of, you prioritize in a sense. What is the absolute bare necessities that I need to take with me? And then if there's something else that I decide, oh, hey, this may be handy, then I know I can just run right back to the truck. It's just right there.
Right. If it's something that important, and I have had to go back to the truck, maybe to either get a camera
or empty out your pouch.
Empty out my pouch of the Indians. Yes. Everybody out. Everybody jumped in. Everybody out. Let's go.
Right. Yep.
Up to it.
Yep. Can't be waiting around and being freeloader here. We're going to start charging rent. Get in the truck.
You got that right. You got that right. So, yeah, I'll go back on occasion. There's been a few goodies that I've found here and there over the years that I've had to kind of stop and take a hike back to the truck to get a camera or maybe my GoPro or something like that, just to catch it on video as I actually uncover it.
Right.
Especially if you see over in the hole.
Right. Well, plus when you think about the aspect of water hunting, sometimes it's simpler just to travel light and keep that stuff in the truck because you don't want to, take a dunk and possibly ruin your phone or your camera or something like that. And, God forbid you get into a spot where you break the handle on your scoop or something. Maybe you've got your other scoop in the bed of the truck where you can run back and grab it.
Right. Well, as you know, that is one thing that I do carry duplicates of, especially when I'm with someone else, as like
right.
when I always bring an extra of at least one or two of the other things, whatever it is that I feel, that may not, that someone else may not be used to. So, especially digging, because here, as you know, a lot of rocks here. So we have to be, you don't want to be an hour away from somewhere. And I've had that happen to not me, but I was with a guy that actually broke a scoop out in the water, and it really would have put a damper on us. Thank goodness there was actually a metal detecting shop right close by, and he ended up buying another one. So, but those things happen. They happen a lot.
Absolutely. And you're right, because say, I don't know, say like good example, the Florida beaches.
Yeah.
If you were in a pinch, maybe you could get by with a hand scoop, or maybe even a cheap aluminum long-handled scoop or something. But that's not going to cut it in your beach conditions.
No, and I can attest to that personally. I mean, and from past experience. I don't know how many aluminum scoops I've gone through. Maybe 3 or 4, I would say, over a course of a few years. And then finally I ended up getting the larger one, as you know, and then put a stainless steel rod onto that pipe, because it was, although it seems a little on the heavy side, you get used to it. I mean, you do it every day like I do, you certainly get used to carrying it. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I can remember, every now and then people would see me running around with the CTX, and I'd have that 17-inch coil on, and they'd be looking at me like, what is that? It looks like you're swinging a UFO.
Right.
Or they'd pick it up and they'd go, my God, how can you swing this thing? I'd be wore out in like 30 minutes. It's just, it's bulky. Well, no, it's what you get used to.
Right. You get used to it. And, after a while, enough to not really have to pick it up, but just enough to let it skid across the terrain. So it's really not that heavy.
Right. You just kind of learn how to work with it. You take care of it, it'll take care of you.
That's right. That's right.
And that's certainly the truth with the scoops.
Oh, yeah. How do you like that 17 for the CTX? What's your version? Tell me what's your take on it.
Well, as far as the 17-inch for the CTX, I have recovered targets at depth with it. But that being said, I don't feel that I've picked up depth with the 17-inch coil on the CTX over what I could do with the E-Track and the Ultimate 13-inch coil.
Okay.
But I have recovered silver quarters at 12 or 13 inches, no problem with that 17-inch CTX coil.
I think I recall one of those 13-inch coins, too.
Yeah, there's been some of them that, people would, Brian's in the chat from Metal Detecting Connecticut.
Yes, he is. A lot of Connecticut people tonight.
Yeah.
Good evening, Brian.
The last one that I can recall, actually, I had been out hunting on my farm permission with the 11-inch coil, and my coil died.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it was a sad day. Everybody else is going around hunting, making finds, and I'm just kind of standing there watching and going, WTF, this blows.
Yeah.
But we had to move on to other places anyway, so we swung by the house here, and I grabbed the 10x5 coil tech and the 17-inch coil. That way I could try to determine whether it was my coil that was going bad or if I was having an issue with the machine. And I put the 17-inch coil on the CTX and went out to a different spot. Got a signal, started digging. A buddy walked by as I was cutting the plug, and a couple of minutes later he comes walking back by and he asked me if I'm okay, if I'm having any problems. I said, no, I'm just trying to get to this target. He comes back by a few minutes later. He says, do you need me to throw you a flashlight or something? You want a translator down there? Because I'm thinking a Chinaman's about to jump out of that hole. And about that time, I kicked that quarter out of the ground, and he says, you didn't do what I just think you did. And I said, yeah, probably. You got a bottle of water. And he says, not if you just pulled a silver coin out of that hole. You still got that bottle of water? He says, I'm going to kick you.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, I mean, that quarter was probably, it was right around 12 or 13 inch mark. I mean, the entire hand digger was below the surface of the ground. By the time I got it out of the ground, I was probably every bit of close to elbow deep.
Oh, wow. Jeez.
Yeah.
Now, see, the only time I ever dig anything elbow deep is if usually like out in the water or more. But then it turns into knee deep, and wide too.
Right. Yeah, so, usually you leave those elbow deep ones on land for Swansea, don't you?
That's right, on purpose. Hey, what a buddy's for.
Right.
So definitely. Yeah, I'll dig an occasional, 10-inch seated, 12-inch seated, but that's usually using the stock coil on the CTX. To be honest with you, I mean, I hardly ever switch up from that. The 14x9 coil tech I liked in the cornfields because of it being, elliptical like that. I really liked that style, and the same thing with the small one too. The
10x5.
That was awesome. Loved it. Did really well. Didn't have to worry about too much of that feedback or, falsing, as people call it, when you hit a corn stalk or a bean stalk or wherever you happen to be hunting.
Well, and I'll tell you, that 10x5, and too, even though that coil doesn't seem very big, you get some great depth out of that thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, I've told you this story before. I had my buddy go in front of me with the CTX with his, and this is on a beach,
right.
For those that haven't heard the story before, and I think I got that day 4 or 5 rings right in back of him with that small coil. They weren't all gold, but they were really nice rings that he went by with the 11-inch coil.
Hey, it doesn't matter if they weren't all gold or not. That's still a ring that was missed.
Yeah, and it wasn't that very big stretch of a beach either. I mean, I want to say maybe 400 or 500 feet long.
Mm-hmm. And you figure on the beach like that, you pulling those rings, even though they weren't all gold, it was still rings that were missed that very possibly could have been gold.
Oh, and I've missed them. I've been to that beach many times over the years.
Oh, so you were definitely going, hey, I like this little buddy.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, got a new best friend here with the 10x5.
It's a little bit on the thick side, but if you can get by that, like that mental part of it, it seems a little thick because I'm used to the nice thin, stock coil.
Right.
But it works great in between the rocks, gets up real tight, gets under the rocks. It's great.
Oh, it works beautifully like that.
Yeah. So it's a great
and
little
it is, I mean, it is a little, its size is kind of deceiving because for no bigger than it is, it does have some heft to it, but it's not bad.
Yeah, I didn't think it was too bad.
No, it's just, when I originally seen it, I was kind of surprised when I picked it up because to see how big it is, you wouldn't think that it weighed as much as it did. I mean, when you pick, which isn't a bad thing, when you pick it up, you know you're holding quality. That is a very durably made coil.
Right. Oh, definitely. Oh, it's durable. That's for sure. It's really thick. I guess composite plastic, I guess they're using in that thing, but I wouldn't be afraid to hit it against a rock.
No, absolutely not.
You know?
That thing will probably hold up better than the lower shaft does.
Yes, I would have to say. So.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you've kind of had to do some work on that for yours. You've kind of wore that out there a little bit.
Couple times. Yeah, a couple times. It's from being swung in the water. You know, things don't last.
That's a lot of force.
It is. It's a lot of force. It's a thick shaft. That is one thing I had a hard time getting used to when I first got my very first CTX, because I went from the Anderson shaft, which glides through the water, to now a thicker, more resistant shaft. And in the water, it makes a big difference. It really can test your wrist, your elbow, your shoulder. After 3 or 4 hours in that water deep, it's a little tough.
Absolutely. You've got that extra resistance there. You're exerting yourself more. Who knows? Maybe it even kind of cut down your hunting time a little bit at first, although I kind of doubt it.
Well, no, it's still, total length of time is still there, but probably a little less targets at the end of the day. You know, you might be digging, maybe a half a dozen less targets.
What?
Because it takes a little longer to get to them. But on the other hand, on a good note, it slows you down a little bit, and you're listening for every little whisper. So
good point.
It kind of sucks on one end, but I'd rather have quality than quantity. Right. If I could put those together and still end up with more at the end of the day, well, so be it. But
then it's a great day.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Well, then, I was going to say, it's a good thing you like that machine if you're making a little less fines overall, possibly. But then again, like you said, that is a good point. It can cause you to slow down, and sometimes that's a very good thing. Start getting into the micro hunting.
Well, that's it. And you know as well as I do, you saw what I did when you were here. I don't think I left that 100-foot stretch in 7 days.
Yeah, I know. I mean, there were some times I'd look out there and it's like, it looks like he's still in the same spot. Did he just, is he like propped up against his detector taking a nap or what?
I know. Well, you know what was happening a lot? Like normally if I was out deeper, I would have probably dug the target, checked, make sure I had it in the scoop, and just sifted it and looked through the scoop.
Right.
In that particular area, there were so many rocks, little rocks, and hundreds, if not thousands, of shells. It would have been tough. I would have been there all day long.
Yeah, that's not real conducive for sifting.
Right. So I ended up, because they were bigger than the holes, so I ended up walking in most of the time, which was 40, 50 feet. It was it was kind of double work, but at least when I dumped it out, I could pull the pinpointer out, get it right away, and then walk back out.
Right. So, and great exercise to burn off that muffin and coffee to where we could go grab another one.
Yeah, that or a nice big fat pizza on the way home.
Right.
Oh, man. I'm feeling deprived. but yeah, so, it worked out okay. It's all good. It's all good. I don't mind walking in and out. It depends. In a sandy area, there's no need for you to walk in. I mean, you just leave it in the scoop and sift it out. But, sometimes that's the reason why there were so many targets in that area, is because no one else wanted to do what I had to do to get it. So.
Right. Well, and like you said, it is, when you take into account what it's like hunting, say, a nice flowery kind of sand beach, and then what you take into account hunting in the conditions like we were when we were together hunting out there in Cape Cod, it is a whole different ball game. It's a completely different style of digging to get your scoop down into that stuff. And sometimes that's why the targets are there. Like you said, nobody else either realizes it or they don't want to put the effort in that it's going to take, because it is a lot of work.
Right. So that particular week, I was not only micro hunting in that area between the jetties, but I was also reverse hunting, if you recall. Now,
That's right.
A lot of people don't realize what I was doing or what that is actually, but my definition of reverse hunting is when you get out there and you've got your threshold as high as I could stand it. When you sweep over a target and the sound goes away, it doesn't necessarily mean it's iron.
Right. It could just be far enough out of the detection range that you're not getting a VDI or anything. It can't distinguish what's there.
Correct.
It knows something's there.
Right. So the processor in turn tells you, well, it's probably not worth it to dig.
Right.
But how many times did I prove that machine wrong?
That's what I was going to say. If you had a quarter for every time it said it probably wasn't worth digging.
Right.
And you pulled a good target out of there, good grief. You could have yourself a fleet of CTXs.
Right. And mind you, I always hunt in an open screen. So if the target isn't good enough or close enough to the coil to respond and ping back to the processor and tell me whether it's a good target or a bad target, and it's iffy, a lot of times it's either next to or on top of or be under a piece of iron or close to it. A lot of our silver dimes here turn rusty. There was a fire, and there's been hurricanes. There's been all kinds of, stuff like that that's happened over the years that have laid on top of these coins or mixed in with these coins or jewelry, and they've turned it rusty. So
right.
They will also, as you know, become crusty. And
the cookie coin.
Exactly. We got a few of those that year. In fact, your Buffalo nickel was a cookie coin.
That's right. That's right.
So that, take that into consideration. If it's got a lot of crust on it, it's also giving you a halo effect. And if there's iron next to it, that sulfide silver is connecting to the iron, and that's the signal you're getting. You're not getting really the coin so much as you are anything around it, because the side of it is the bigger object, not so much the coin.
Right. And when you're hunting in conditions like that, it really can kind of skew your signals.
Absolutely. So if my definition of hunting in reverse, if the tone goes away, my threshold, not the tone, but the threshold, even a little bit, I will work as hard as I can to get it repeatable and try to find the center. If I can't, I don't think I ever use maybe the trigger one time, 2 times every 4 months, maybe.
Right. You rarely use the pinpoint on yours. That takes too much time. That's another target you could be digging.
Yeah, exactly. So I try to pinpoint it as close as I can to the center. I mean, I'm in the water anyway. I got a pretty good size scoop, 12 and a 14. So, I mean, that's a pretty good size hole already. As long as I can get fairly close to it, usually I get it within 2 scoops.
Right.
If I can get it in the scoop and get it out of the hole, well, that's the whole idea. So, but if that noise, if it goes away, I don't believe that it's always iron. I just don't believe it.
Right. It's just something is there to break that threshold. Whether it's coming through clear enough to give you a clear, repeatable signal is another thing. But something is breaking that threshold.
Right. And now here's another kind of a strange thing. If the ring is, whether it's gold or silver, high tone, low tone, either way, The other thing is, if it's broken or cracked, you're going to get.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So, you've got to take into consideration you've got 3 points, major points on your coil, left, right, and center. So if it's a broken ring, so you're putting 2 circles, one circle over the top of another circle that's smaller, and so it's kind of, that's what's giving you that broken signal. So
right.
It's not always a bad signal that you want to dig. I mean, a good signal that you want to dig. If it's there and it sounds good, dig it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's one of the reasons why so many people have problems finding chains.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Usually when they find them, it's because they're all balled up or because they've got a pendant or something on it, and that's what the signal is you picked up.
That's right. You're absolutely right. You will find the charm before you'll find the actual chain itself, unless, like you said, it's in a ball. Very, very simple. You're not. In fact, I think I may have found a couple of chains with you that week that were in a ball.
Yeah, you did actually. And I had.
I know I found one up on the beach. I think it was with you.
Right.
Yeah, that one had a nice sterling cross on it. The chain was all kind of almost in a ball, but not quite. It was kind of lengthened out, but it actually I want to say it was actually close to another coin too. I think I had a silver quarter next to it too, so I may have actually gotten the quarter and then
multiple targets in the scoop.
Yeah, pretty much. And Tommy had a pretty good question. How high do I run my threshold in the water? I run it as high as I can take it on my Excalibur. On my CTX, I've got it all the way, as high as I can, because for some reason the volume on them things aren't as loud as they could be if I was using a COS headphone. The Grey Ghost headphones, for some reason, are a lower modulation on them, so I have to run it as full as I can.
See, that's interesting, because usually with my threshold, I run it as low as I can.
Interesting.
But,
see, I need to hear something.
But for me, then, I've kind of got that little bit of heightened sense of hearing, so I'm able to do that.
See, your one of your senses aren't up to what it normally should have been. So you're making your other sense work even better, and that's your hearing. So yeah, that's a good point. Whereas mine, I like I said, if you go over anything and that threshold even breaks a little bit, check it, recheck it, check it, recheck it, and make sure you don't need to dig it. But when the signals get far and few in between, we've all been there.
Right.
Sometimes you just don't care. You'll dig it anyway.
Yeah, you find yourself going, I don't care, just give me anything. I'm digging.
That's right. And I've been there, done that multiple times over my career. So it's a good idea to, sometimes just dig it anyway. Just see. What the heck? Listen, that's what we're there to do anyway, right? We're there to dig.
Right.
So
or even just scrape some of that sand out of the way and swing back over it. See if that signal starts to get a little better.
That's right. Yeah, a lot of times you'll see me fan. That's correct. That's something I didn't even mention. Get out there, you get a target, it doesn't sound so well, give it a few kicks and make it get a little closer to the target, and lo and behold, sometimes that repeatable, not so repeatable sound turns into a repeatable sound. So yeah, that works too.
Right.
And I dig it anyway. Most of the time I'll dig it anyway because you know as well as I do. I mean, you know your properties pretty well. I know my properties pretty well. Someone that might be in Connecticut might know their dirt a little better than me. So
absolutely.
It's a little different here and there. But I will say, no matter where you live, we all have salt in the ground, whether you have salt water or not, because the world is 2/3 water, and the sun sucks up the salt water, and then it disperses it through the rain. And yes, you do have salt in your area. I don't care if you live in Colorado. So I always recommend running the machine in salt mode. That's just my preference. I'm not saying that it works, but I've been to a lot of places, and sometimes it works for me. So just a thought.
And I can't remember, it's because it's been a while since I've had the CTX out, but if I remember right, I may even run my threshold down as low as 10 or 12.
Really? That's interesting. And you can still hear it. I mean, I can hear it, but it's just not loud. Yeah, I can run it low too, but I want to make sure that if I'm out there with the wind conditions and the salt water, Josh, and the waves crashing and, and the kids are screaming and, the whole 9 yards, I want to make sure that I hear any bump at all whatsoever in the threshold.
Oh, absolutely. And much like you were saying, if I'm out with the Excalibur, I do have the threshold up a little higher on it because, you've got a lot of ambient noise going on and, the headphones for the Excalibur, they're not real good at blanking out ambient noise, so to speak.
Right. Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's the understatement.
It's a great machine, but it could have a little better pair of headphones on it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've got the Koss yellows on there, the waterproof ones. I like them. I like them because they are much louder than the Grey Ghost. Now, I have switched off and I've never tried the Grey Ghost on the Excalibur because those are hardwired. But I have tried, the Koss on the Mind Labs, and I don't really. I see a big difference in the volume, but I don't see much difference in the performance. So I just put the other ones back on and ended up keeping the other Koss on the other machine.
Well, and I've said it before on the show. I mean, the pair of Koss that came with the CTX, they're still wrapped up in the CTX box. I don't have a use for them.
Yeah, no, I listen, people know us already, and we'll give it a good rating or a bad rating. I wouldn't say it's the best rating. I really liked them the first time I tried them, and that was the last time I used them. Guess why? They broke. They actually broke. The connection that goes into the machine actually broke. And I was using it at that time, I was using it wireless. So I only had them out for a couple, 3 hours, and they broke on me.
Wow.
Did I sound? Yeah, I loved them. I think they were, I forget the numbers, were they K40s or something like that, or K20s or something like that?
UR30s or something like that, I think.
Yeah, something like that. So yeah, and then when I got my second CTX, my set of Koss phones are in the box still too. I never took them out of the package. Because they're just not.
Of course, I was like that even back when I was running an E-Track. When I got my E-Track, the headphones that came with it, I actually took them out of the box and gave them to another hunter who didn't have headphones. Said, here, take these. Those will get you going for now. And what are you? You serious? You don't want them? No, I run Grey Ghost.
Right. Well, it's not only preference, but as time goes on, the more people learn what to use and what not to use, and not what to spend more money on continuously, like me with those aluminum screws. You get to know what works and what doesn't.
Yeah, exactly, and you're definitely better off in the long run to just spend the money and buy a good quality pair of headphones to start with. Whether it's whether it's the Detector Pro line or the Killer Bee line, because they make some great headphones as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I'm not a big person, a switching person. I like, if it's not broke, I don't fix it. Let's put it that way.
Right. If it works for me, then I'm sticking with it.
Right. And I've got a bad habit of that. I mean, because there are new things that come out that's bigger and better. I mean, I wish I didn't wait too long to buy the CTX. I had a buddy of mine that bought one. He bought his in January, I think, when they first came out. What was that, 2012? No, yeah, 2011, I think, or 12. Somewhere in there they came out.
Good grief. Yeah, probably 2011, I think.
Yeah, I think so. He had his for
Either
about,
way, 11 or 12.
Yeah. He had his for about 3 or 4 months, Josh. Buddy, he was putting a whipping to me.
Well, we can't have that.
Good God, no. So, I made the move. I sold all my other instruments. I think I had 3 or 4 other ones, and I put that money towards a new one, and I haven't looked back since, buddy.
Well, and there again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's working for you. You do very well with it.
Right. So that's where I'm at. So I do have one CTX with the Gray Ghost, and I've got one for water use. Land use with the cost. So that's where I'm at this point.
Well, I don't know. Maybe I'm kind of, set in my ways or whatever, but it's great that the CTX is an all-terrain machine. Really it is, because don't get me wrong, I love the CTX.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes if you're going to do a certain type of hunting, you should have a machine that's designed for that job. So that's why I have the Excalibur for my water hunting.
Okay. Well, and let me ask you, when you're using your, when you're using the Excal, are you using it in all metal mode, or how do you go about a place of, first, let's say the first time you've been to this place, what mode are you using? Just curious.
Usually, a lot of the times, I am hunting in all metal mode with the Excalibur, but on the times where I do actually exercise a little bit of discrimination, it's very, very minimal. Okay. Kind of like you like to say, less is best.
Right. Okay. Well, I'll tell you, here in New England, when we do get a cut, I actually... I'll tell you, this is the way I go about it. If we get a cut and I'm using my Excal, I'll go out in discrim mode the first 3, 4, 5, 6 times in that cut. Sometimes 7, 8, 10, whatever, until I feel like I've either exhausted it to death and beat it up and zigzagged and gridded and, 10 other guys have been in it. And then I'll go back and put a lace into it. And I'll leave it in all metal mode. Yes, I'll dig more nails, and yes, I'll dig more lead sinkers deep, but I'll also come away with usually a 1 or 2 or 3 ring day.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's even been times where I'll go out and I may hit it in discrimination with very little discrimination, but then once it starts getting to where it seems like there's not much popping up at all, I'll just put it in pinpoint mode and hunt like that.
There you go. Yeah, definitely all metal mode. That's and I only do that because if I'm missing them, chances are someone else is too. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So and I feel that very strongly about that. So if I go back, say the 6th or 8th or 10th day, and there ain't nothing else to do. There's no other areas. I still, oh man, I got to get back in this cut again. Oh man, it's gone, it's done. People have beat it up. People have got rings out of here. I've got rings, coins, and you can only work a 100-foot section by a 50-foot section for so many days until there's nothing. So
right.
The only way you got to do is change it up. So you change it up and you do something different. So open up that discrim to all metal and go at it.
Right. Well, and a lot of times, too, it's just, the machines that we have available at our disposal today with the technology that we have, they're great machines, and everybody is making great finds with them, but that's the thing. The CTX works good for you. Well, right. Joe down the street, he can see that and say, oh, hey, I'm going to go buy a CTX, and chances are good it's going to work good for him, too. And he's going to make those finds. But then, like you said, chances are good if there's an area where you're missing targets, they are too, and that's where we get that edge, is from the experience that we have or that we gain either by the knowledge of the machine or because of the years of experience of hunting and knowing, hey, I can squeeze a little more performance out of this machine going into all metal mode or going into just hunting just in pinpoint mode.
That's right. That's right. And we also have another listener from Connecticut tonight. Good evening, Angel.
Wow. Connecticut is a strong force in the house.
Yeah, they're giddy up and going.
Yeah, right. Welcome to Angel. Man.
Oh man,
He'll have to excuse us though. I forgot to roll out the red carpet.
Hey, wait a minute. We're gonna have him take us out at the end of the night. What do you think?
Uh-oh. Did his name just disappear out of chat?
Man, he's probably giggling right now.
Right, he's gone, no thanks.
Speaking about Angel getting in the chat there, he's been cooking up some gold there the last few days. I don't know if you've been paying attention, but
yeah,
he's already up there.
See, and you've hunted with Angel. Does he have any sort of rituals that you've noticed?
Oh, I don't know. I think we ought to have him call in. I think we ought to have him call in. He can tell us himself.
And then tell him to take us out, huh?
That's right. That's right. We're getting close. That's funny.
Well, I mean, we know...
Angel, give us a call. 419-549-5744. 419-549-5744. Give us a call. We want to find out about your ritual.
And he's going, yeah, it ain't happening.
Yeah, I know.
You know, though, I did. We've heard in some other shows where some people wear mismatched socks, with certain color bandanas.
Right.
I even hunted with a guy once. I don't think it was his ritual. I think he was just in a hurry to get out of the house. But we were out hunting for about 15 minutes when all of a sudden he come up and he tells me, he's like, I thought something just wasn't quite right. And he had 2 different shoes on.
Oh.
Not the same feet, just, one foot of 2 different pairs of shoes. So I guess you could say he wore mismatched shoes.
But does he do it on purpose?
I don't think he did. I think he was just in a hurry, and I don't think it helped his hunt any that day either.
Yeah, right. Because then you end up getting a little self-conscious about it, right?
Right. It sure did give me a giggle, though.
And now it's giving everybody else a giggle.
Yeah, I was having a great day with it. I was like, hey, what's going on there? You got 2 left feet or what? Shut up. I'm going to kick you.
Hey, Ben, that's pretty funny. I don't know if you read that, but that's
no, I missed that.
Ben says Angel takes Viagra before he goes out.
Not that kind of stamina for the hunt.
Oh, man.
Wow.
That's awesome. Ben's a fun guy.
Yeah, it sounds like he's just a hoot.
Oh, my God. He's hilarious. That's funny.
I even heard from a guy today that his routine, you could say, is when he goes to the beach to hunt, always has to listen to Neil Diamond on the way to the beach.
Yes, he does. I know exactly who you're talking about, and absolutely. It's a ritual. Here's another one that, just thinking about it, maybe not so much a ritual for me, but, maybe a superstition. I don't like to cross lanes back and forth on my way hunting.
Oh, no leapfrogging.
No leapfrogging.
That's bad juju.
Yes, it is. Oh, man.
Nice.
Yeah, I know, huh?
Well, and in the terms of listening to Neil Diamond, I mean, apparently it must work for the guy because he makes some great finds. But you're right.
Yeah.
You know, you want to exercise that courtesy too, and not do the crossing of the paths or anything. Maybe some people kind of believe in karma or whatever and think maybe fate will not favor them for that sort of thing.
That's right.
So, yeah,
That's
you
right.
could say that is kind of a superstition for those who are superstitious.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it was just maybe it's me. It's also a common courtesy thing too.
Absolutely.
Right?
It's a respect thing.
Sure. There's a little bit of common courtesy that should go along with treasure hunting. I mean,
right.
If you're going to be jumping in front of someone and you see that they've been working that same straight line until they get to the edge of where they normally turn around, don't jump in front of them.
Right.
It's as simple as
bad habit to get into.
Right. It makes good friends go bad very quickly.
Speak
from experience.
Yeah, especially if something nice happens to pop up. Like they say, when a gold comes up, the friendship goes over the bow.
That's right. That's right. Exactly.
Some people can get very... people are funny by nature, though. Some of them, that can really get to them. And next thing you know, it's... I've seen situations where sometimes it even comes down to borderline fisticuffs.
Oh, geez. Well, I've been stalked. I know that other people, have gone out of their way to meet other people down on the beach, and it's been I don't know. I guess you could say confrontational. I've seen people get the stink eye by other guys that have been there, and they think it's their beach or their land or their park or wherever. I've seen that stuff. Yeah, a lot of that stuff goes on. That's a lot of stuff that goes along with this particular hobby. At one time, it wasn't quite that bad. Going back into the 80s, 70s, 80s, even into the 90s, there was a time when if you were digging somewhere, people would come up and go, "Wow, that's cool. That's really cool. How do I get one?" Now, not everybody, but some people will look at you like, I've had comments of people walking by and they'll say, "Really? You're digging up the park like that? I can't believe it. You get away with that?"
Yeah.
Times have changed. It's not like it used to be. Before, they'd want to help you dig.
Right.
Now, they'd rather call the cops on you.
Yeah, now they want to criticize you for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Before they even know what's really going on. Yeah, it's changed. It's really changed.
Well, and a lot of that too is from, say, the kind of bad apples in the hobby.
Yeah.
That give us all a bad name, so to speak.
Yeah. A lot of times the friendships do go over the bow when you get jealousy and when you get jealousy by doing what you're doing, and they're in the same sentence, it's not good. In other words, if I kept showing you I kept getting gold, and you're my digging buddy, and you're not finding gold, after a while, you're going to start to get jealous. It's just human nature. Yeah, you can sit there and tell me that, yeah, you're happy for me, but after a while, it is going to get tiresome. I've been on that side of the fence myself many times. Right. So it is what it is. Unfortunately, it happens to us. I have lost friendships over it. Right. It's not good. I hate to admit that. I've lost 3 good friends over it now, over the past 40 years, and it's really sad. So I felt like I was getting penalized.
Yeah, it's like being penalized for being good at what you do.
Absolutely.
Or for trying to do as good as you can.
That's right, and that's pretty sad. That's right. So what does that make you want to do? Makes you want to hide the stuff from the next person. And then now that's even worse because now you're not telling the truth, and eventually later on in a year or 2 or 3 or 4, you're going to go, hey, remember that day I found? And you go, oh, sheesh, that's right. I didn't tell that person. So now you've got to cover up everything. So
yeah, and they're going, oh, so you're keeping things from me now, huh? I see how you are.
Exactly. So that's not good either.
Right.
But it is, like I said, it is what it is. Unfortunately, if people need to get, maybe not, I shouldn't say need. If people get jealous over a friend finding something, then they really weren't your friend. Because we are out there together. That's the fun of having another person be along with you so that you can say, wow, you ain't going to believe what I just found. Look, get over here. Look, it's in the hole.
Yeah, share the experience.
Right. I'm truly, genuinely happy for the person if they find something because they deserve it.
Right.
They're out there looking, they're searching, they're finding. That's what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, for the most part, any given situation or scenario, they're out there busting their ass too, trying to find things.
Right, exactly. And I'll tell you what, I sincerely mean this. I've dug with all them guys and girls out in Connecticut, all of them, and they are genuine. When we find something over there, they actually put their detectors down, Josh, come running over with the GoPro or camera or whatever, and they're happy for you when you find something. So kudos off to them.
That's cool. Yeah, now that's hospitality right there.
Right, exactly. So anyway, enough about that. But I just wanted to put that friendship and jealousy in the same sentence because that goes right back to what you just said. At one time I was a lone hunter, and for many years I didn't want to share because I was greedy. I wanted to keep everything. I wanted to find everything. But as I get older, I notice that that's not the way to be. Every 10 years, you think differently as you get older. And I really wanted to share my knowledge. I wanted to have a buddy to hunt with or multiple buddies to hunt with. And, I joined the radio shows and I've done all that stuff and it opens doors and I'm looking forward to this year. I can't wait to dig more.
Right. Only hopefully it's a better year than what yesterday was.
Yesterday sucked. It's okay. Got that one out of the way. That was one bad dig. Right. I actually went without an Indian.
That kind of sounds like Barb's recent trip. I think, she did good pulling the finds that she did, but I believe her first target out of the hole was a Georgia pull tab. And that's kind of what she said. Oh, that blows. But hey, I got it out of the way. Now on to the good stuff.
There you go. Giddy up.
Yeah,
hey,
so maybe you got yours out of the way for the year.
I hope so. But just a quick throw out there. The Silver City Treasure Seekers are going to have their annual treasure show this year. It's going to be on September 15th. We actually have a date set in stone. So it's September 15th. I think
that's even earlier, isn't it?
It is.
Because the last one was like the 26th or 28th?
Yes. Yeah, we were able to get a Holiday Inn, and it's going to be bigger and better than ever. So,
ooh, that sounds nice.
Yeah, it's going to be really nice. We'll have food available there, I believe, and it's going to be a lot of raffles. The more information I get, the more I'll pass it on through the radio show here.
Right.
But it's going to be at the Holiday Inn, 8 a.m. I believe that's a Saturday. It's in Taunton, Massachusetts, and I will be posting the flyers. We're going to have tickets. We'll have raffles, 50-50 raffles. I believe there's going to be at least, at the minimum, 2 detectors raffled off, and door prizes and stuff like that. So if that's something that anybody is interested in, I thought I'd give that out there, and we get to see you out there.
And it wouldn't surprise me if you get to see Fred again.
I hope he comes along. I'd love to have him come by and stop by the table. It was great meeting him, and would love for him to. Maybe we can get him in back of the table this time for a couple of minutes.
Yeah, you never know.
Right.
That's right.
I will have a few tables out there myself, and of course, we've got a lot of new stuff that we found in the last 2 years. So, if you've seen some of my posts and you'd like to see some of the stuff that's there,
chances are good they can.
They will be right there up and close. And yes, I don't mind if you want to pick it up and touch it. I don't mind. I don't mind fondling other stuff either. So, can't wait.
Right. And you never know who knows. There may even be a possibility I may pop up.
Oh, we're hoping so, buddy. We're hoping you come along and, you can sit in back there with me. I'd like to get in touch with Mind Lab here very shortly and see if they'll be on board with us like they were last time. I know Doug Bowden's coming. We're hoping that Barbara can make it. I know Ben and Angel will probably stop by, and the whole crew from Connecticut. I know there's going to be a few from Missouri too, so you never know.
Oh yeah, there were people from all over at the last one.
Yeah, we had Canada, we had Colorado. I know we had a guy from New Mexico, and like you said, Fred, I think New Jersey, right?
Yeah, Ohio, New Jersey, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Florida.
Yes. So yeah, that's right, Florida. Yeah, so it's going to be big. I can tell you that. If there's a treasure show that you want to go to,
that's the one.
That's the one you want to go to. Yeah, definitely.
Right.
I know for a fact there'll be some real colonial stuff there. I know of at least 3 pine tree shillings that were found this past year that will be at the treasure show. So,
oh, you're killing me.
If that's something you want to see and possibly hold and look at, that's the show you want to go and look at them and see them.
And hopefully, if it's a good year, one of them will be at your table.
Oh my goodness, yeah, that would be awesome. Hey, you know what? Even if it's not a pine tree, you will definitely get a chance to look up and close at my my wax matrix seal that I found. So I've got a little surprise about that. I don't want to let it out of the bag quite yet until I get 100% confirmation on it. So we'll save that for a later date. But there's something in the works with that, by the way.
Always keep them guessing.
That's it. So stay tuned. You never know what's going to happen with that thing.
Right, or when it's going to show up.
I can tell you this, it's a heck of a piece of history that's turned up. I will tell you this.
There's just a lot of things going on anymore behind the scenes that you just never know when it's going to happen or show up or anything. Man, we're liable to be full of all sorts of news at some point. Wax matrices and treasure shows and... I mean, it's where's P.T. Barnum now?
Yeah, well, he's in Connecticut. That was his field out there. By the way,
yeah.
Speaking of the wax matrix, I don't know I know you know, but some of the folks may not know. So the story behind the wax matrix seal is when I first found it, I put it into my pouch thinking that I had a brooch or a pin.
Right.
When I got home, I had it sit on my desk. It was sitting there 2 or 3 days. And here's where the double treasure comes in. I started to lightly brush it off because it was still full of mud. And I noticed that it was reversed and that it was an etching. That's when I realized that I had a broken wax matrix seal.
Right. This ain't no brooch.
Right. So I posted it, and when I posted it, I had gotten in touch with by a particular gentleman that is a local historian, and he asked if I could kindly take it down, only because he wanted to do a little bit of research on it for me, free of charge, and we would go from there. I said, okay. So I did.
Right.
And lo and behold, it's quite the historical find. I did not realize what I had, and I'm still learning things about it, believe it or not. I just realized the other day, or about a month ago or so, when I kind of reopened it and started thinking about it and looking into it and looking at the other one that had only been seen in a couple of the local historical areas.
Right.
There's only another one that's almost exactly like it that was carved for George Washington in the 1790s also, and they only belong to presidential people, these flowers. That
like
were
cabinet members, I guess.
That's right. So on the ends of my flowers, I did not realize that there are snakeheads, which is another hidden attribute that, it belonged to Masons or whoever it was within the Masons or something to do with the Masons. So you never know. You never know. And the more I get myself involved with this particular seal, now it's starting to consume much of my time so that I can learn as much about it as possible. But that being said, I've got a couple more surprises about it, so we'll keep them guessing, like you said. So stay tuned. We'll see what happens. Oh, the other thing is I want to say is I went back a year later. Now, I've been back a couple of times, but just recently I went back in January before the actual frost.
Right.
It was the last dig of the day with my son, Nick, and I ended up getting the top piece to it, 15 feet away from it. So I have the complete wax matrix seal 1 year apart, almost to the day.
Right. Now, just think, if you had, when you kind of realized what it was, if you had sold that or something like that, where would you be now? I mean, now you've found the other half of it. What good is one half without the other?
None. No good. The only good thing that happened is I happened to find the good piece first. I found the piece that really tells me what it is and who etched it by the Philadelphia engravers. There were 4 different men that actually worked on it, 2 of which left in 1793 to go back to England. So we know that they at least etched it 1792 or prior. So it could be even older than 1792. I'm just tagging it as 1792 because that's the latest.
It couldn't be later.
That's correct. They didn't do anything over in England and send it this way. They only worked here when they engraved. Each individual guy was hired, or I guess you could say, or
commissioned.
Yes, and each guy had a separate thing to do on each stone. One guy would do just the lettering, the monograms. One guy would do just the flowers and the leaves. Another guy would do just the outlines. Another guy would do just the reeded edges. They were very, very particular. So one guy did one thing. That was it. It wasn't one guy doing it all.
And so clearly very good at what they do when you look at up-close pictures of that thing.
It's absolutely stunning. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful piece of art. It really is. And that's just what it is. It's not only history, but it's art. It's beautiful.
Right.
The only thing that's still bugging me, to be honest with you, is we don't know who it belonged to. So there's been a lot of speculation. We do have a few last names. Unfortunately, we don't know. We've tried. I've had 4 or 5 people helping me out looking. The closest that we've come to are 3 different gentlemen. One of them was Payne, and he was in the cabinet at that time period, so it's possible it could have been that one, but I can't say for sure, so that's not something I'd want to just spill out there and say, hey, that belonged to that guy. It's just not right.
Yeah, obviously you're going to want to verify some of that information before you say much of anything about it.
Right, exactly. So, anyway, enough about that. Anyway.
Well, I think I'm about ready to wrap up. What about you? Anything else you wanted to mention?
I think that's about it for now. I'm glad that we were able to, give everybody a chance to know when the treasure show is.
Right.
But with that, I think we're pretty much good, and maybe we can catch up on Sunday. How's that sound?
Hey, yeah. Oh, hey, there is one other thing, though. I don't know if you had noticed on Facebook or not, but yesterday was mail day for me. I had a package in the mail.
Ooh, what do we get? What do we get?
Randy Barnhouse's book.
Nice.
Yes, it is. That thing looks sharp. It was very well done, and maybe I'm a little biased, but the text is very easy to read. It's kind of a large text format, so I'm all about that.
Like that. Yeah, we like that. Yeah, I like that too. Yes. No glasses. I agree. Glasses.
Yeah, little shy of 300 pages. I can't remember the exact number, but I know it was under 300. Got some nice photos in there. I haven't started to read it yet. Maybe this weekend. But it looks like it's going to be a very good book, so he's staying very busy with getting those books out to people. Good.
Well, maybe we can have him back on the show one night.
Yeah, you never know if he's not too busy, at his desk at the post office.
That's okay. I got a feeling he likes that.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, who wouldn't? And he put a lot of time and effort into it, so it's nice to kind of see the fruits of your labor, so to speak.
That's right. Awesome. Yeah, we'll definitely get him back on the show. I got to talk with that guy. And also, I want to thank everybody for tuning into the chat room tonight. That was awfully nice that we had some kind words said there. It was good to read the manuscript, I guess you could say, the scrolling. I tried to keep up with it in between talking with you. So,
right.
Yeah, glad that we had a lot of guys from Connecticut and all over the area. So,
absolutely.
It's always good to see everybody in there.
And the way it sounds, there's even a few that were voicing, wow, it's good to hear them two on at the same time again.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's awesome. I always have a good time. Always have a good time with you, Josh.
Yeah, see, so just because you were away for a while does certainly not mean you were forgotten.
That's right. I appreciate that. Believe me, it goes further than I say.
Yeah. Well, what do you think? Why don't you take us on out of there, Leighton?
All right. Well, hey, listen, folks. Keep it low. Keep it slow. Don't forget, Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All yours, Josh.
All right. So if you all enjoyed the show, go ahead and throw us a like here on Spreaker. You can follow us on Spreaker. You can follow us on iTunes, Facebook, the many wonderful groups out there such as World of Tokens, Ohio Relic Hunter, Adventures in History, Relic News, Detecting the Heartland, the Rock River Group, Deep Digging Iowa. The list just rolls and rolls and rolls. And who can forget, with the presence of Connecticut in the house tonight, Metal Detecting Connecticut. For us, it's been fun, but I think we're going to roll on out. You all have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you on the next one.